Friend?
How you doing, brother?
Good, good. Doing quick on the man. Are you in golf season already now or what?
Yeah, man, I got out there yesterday. It was brilliant. It's such a beautiful day, you know.
That
And
smile, that's
then,
like joy right there. That is
yeah,
the
it's
joy.
bliss, man. Because I stole my motorcycle, right?
Oh, did
So
you? Okay.
the toss up, between there was always a battle between golf and the motorcycle.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, I hear you. I
it's
sold my
good, man.
motorcycle when I got the Porsche. It was just like I couldn't. Yeah, I was over
Yeah, it's on the list, man.
it.
On the list.
Um, so many people in the chat I want to get to as well. I see Mr. Phil's just jumped on. He has there's a Pilates day happening this weekend. Julie Driver just came in, but I haven't seen you in a while, man. So I just want to touch base with you and see how things are going. And for those who don't know this gentleman here, there was one day that I was just doing my Starbucks Friday morning, and I was just sitting down and decided to jump on, do a live. And Neil, being a marketing business development wizard that he is, gave me a ton of ideas, a lot of pivotal stuff. So, and it was great to have someone who is not in the Pilates space provide his perspective for people. So I thought it was a really good conversation. And even in further, like later podcasts, someone that was watching that lives in Australia was blown away by that conversation. I've been on her podcast since, and we've been working together on some stuff. So it was a real launch pad for a lot of things out of a real casual, unscripted conversation. So that's the caliber that's in the room right now.
That's good, man. No, I appreciate the kind words. It's always good to help people, man. If you can help other people level up, and we can't be experts at everything, right? So if it
Yeah.
works, it works. If it doesn't work, no harm, no foul.
Right, exactly. So maybe I'll just start with this. I was thinking about this morning. Like, has social media helped or hurt the Pilates industry? And we talk about all the benefits of social media, but then there's some things I was thinking about that get lost because we become dependent on social media as well.
Like what?
Well, like the value of face-to-face connections, the value of human touch, the value of hearing the story behind something instead of just jumping to, making something happen based on my interpretation. So I'll give you an example just from the personal training world, okay? Let's say you and I are going for a workout and I'm teaching a boot camp. I can go on YouTube and watch 17 exercises on how to do my class today, write them down and make that the class. Or I can spend time being mentored by a Todd Durkin, a Peter Twist, and understand the methodology, the history of an exercise, why that exercise is good for this population, and be able to understand how to educate my people. Or I can just copy the dance moves from the club I was at the night before.
Okay. Well, I mean, so Pilates is not new, right? I
Yeah,
mean, everybody can get information, and regardless, even if it's not Pilates, insert service or product here.
anything. Yeah,
All
yeah.
the information is available to us at our fingertips. I think the value that instructors bring to the table is their personal cadence or candor based on their evaluation of their clients and how they're structuring the program in order to facilitate their needs independently to achieve their goals, right? So digital storytelling and concepts based on sort of bespoke services is still an opportunity. Human touch, yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, we're human beings, right? Like that's not going to go away. Things are
Yep.
opening back up though. People are getting more comfortable. Like, I don't think this is the state of things to move forward.
Mhm.
But digital storytelling is very important, depending on what your goals are as a
Right.
business owner, right?
Yes. I fear that people lose the value of real storytelling because of digital storytelling.
Okay. Can you want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, what I mean by that is people become dependent on the path of least resistance. Like it's easier to just do that, and I think that's sometimes the meaning and the origin. Like a lot of what you're saying there, there's a lot to be said for understanding the people that you're working with and all those different things. I think that it's just people are lazy. That's it, man. I think people are just lazy.
Absolutely, bro.
And I think that's the thing that bothers me is that you're gonna run to the easiest way to do something and not value the hard path.
I mean, yes and no. For the most part, if we're to group people, like people are busy. They skim. They don't read, right? But I mean, if you're truly intrigued or curious, depending on who the person is, they're gonna go down the rabbit hole to the nth degree, right?
Hmm.
And challenge you or ask you questions depending on their interest level,
Yes.
right? But again, like it really depends on what the end goal is, right? So if you're saying you're developing a program that's sort of being an introductory class, for example, and you're new to this game,
Hmm.
yeah, you're going to get information on the internet and sort of tweak it to make it your own. I would hope, at least, right?
I
Um,
hope. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and but that's what separates the one percenters, one like yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get something on the internet and then just rechange or rebrand it and say call it your own.
People do all the time. You know, yeah, they do. But like the digital, okay, so take the side of the digital storytelling being the thing. Like I mean, like this is your wheelhouse in so many ways. Um, I'm not hating on it completely, but I'd love to hear from your perspective what the benefit of digital storytelling would be.
Yeah, education, man. Education is one. Differentiation as well. Like I mean, if like you know this, like I had a client that was coming in your world, and I mentioned the actual client name to you, and
Mhm.
we had a candid conversation about that. But I have an eighth, if that, of knowledge. It's like a drop in an ocean in comparison to yourself, right? So subject matter experts that's in your world have an opportunity to advocate their style from their lessons they have learned from the teachers or mentors that they're working with. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, individual instruction or personal training, quote unquote personal, is just that. It's personal,
Yes.
right? So, if you're educating the masses, digital is perfect because it's one to many, right? And you know
Yes.
this very well because you're doing it across a number of different platforms, whether it's the IG Lives, whether it's your own social accounts, whether it's the YouTube channel and the podcast.
Mhm.
So you're ripping content and you're planting seeds in other oceans that you wouldn't have the opportunity to do so if you had just have to do that one on one, right? Can you imagine?
Yes. Right.
So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
reach a much wider audience through digital if you're
Yes.
executing properly and you don't have to reinvent the wheel to carve out three different pieces of assets.
True. It's efficient.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. Here's Helen Hayes' comment here says, I think that it's human nature to be lazy, but if we just copy all the time, I think the lack of authenticity will eventually show through.
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, if you're an effective communicator, right?
Mhm.
You're just taking the content and you're delivering it.
Yeah.
So depending on the style that you're delivering that content, people
Hmm.
are either going to be intrigued and resonate, or they're going to be like, I've heard this story before, and it's
Right.
plagiarized,
Right.
right?
True. True. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So how's the LinkedIn thing, man? I've been seeing you up in your LinkedIn profile to the business execs since our talk.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
working out or?
That's been working out. It's been working out really well. Um, the that shifting that my mindset to making LinkedIn my B2C
Mhm.
consumer, and keeping Instagram B2B for the most part, like because there's a lot of people who are already in this industry, so I'm not preaching. I'm preaching to the choir right now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's been good, and also as I expand, as you know, I'm running for city council, so
Yes, sir.
shifting over and getting a mindset has been helpful, um, and even how I present over there. So like I'm shifting it from presenting as a Pilates instructor to a business person, a fitness entrepreneur, to an entrepreneur, to a community advocate, to a you know what I mean. So people seeing all those different things. So my conversations now are with a diabetes organization to say, okay, so how do we integrate health and wellness? And Pilates can be a thing, and I put up articles on how Pilates can be beneficial for helping with diabetes as you're making this your mandate to connect with corporations and cities on healthy, that sort of thing. So trying to broaden the conversation for where I am has been really helpful, right? And using LinkedIn to do that and say, look, these are all the things I'm doing, while over here on Instagram, like we're talking about right now, social media, being able to say, I want to inspire people to continue to be curious as teachers and continue to be like Helen says, authentic with the way you present, right? So
Yeah.
just being very like super intentional with my messaging on each social media channel.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah. So I thank you for helping me to put some muscles on that skeleton, right? Because I mean I
Yeah,
was
that's
thinking
good.
that way, but you helped me to think about it in different ways. So
Yeah, for sure, man. Everything else good?
everything's good, man. Everything is good.
No.
Yeah.
And the political side of things is moving in the right direction.
Slowly, slowly.
Yeah,
We're
building your
gonna
tribe.
building those a digital community, and then nominations go up this week. I'll be
Good.
able to declare my official candidacy next week, due to technicality this week. So I had to wait and just watch everyone else make their announcements.
It's all right. You come in
It's
late. It's
yeah,
like you show up to the party fashionably ready to party, man. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Let them do
Like,
their thing. You come in after, you be like, yeah, I got next round. You got
yep,
this, man.
I got this.
I know you got it.
Yeah, yes.
Anyways,
Um,
man, I gotta jump, but
yeah, I was gonna
listen,
say,
anytime, right? You want to just poke me? I'm here. You know, hopefully we can do some stuff. But good luck,
absolutely.
man. Enjoy your
Thank you very
Friday.
much, here. Thanks, man.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Cheers. Anytime.
Good stuff. There is Martin Phillips. Are you still in the room? Let me see here. We could talk about your Pilates day over the weekend. And also, Julie, I'd love to have you come in at some point as well, whichever one of you are free. And Carrie Miller, what's going on? And Miss Lindsay Ray. Okay, cool. We're gonna bring Martin Phillips on. Kid drop off.
Yeah, there's the remnants of this morning's class
This
from
class.
the living room studio. Everybody, there you go. I'm just gonna turn the camera around. Good morning, everyone.
The beautiful chaos that is our
Yeah,
world. Yes.
but again, you want to make things accessible. So there you have it, and the classes are just success after success. So I'm really happy that that's working.
Awesome, man.
Um, but
Yes,
to
Martin
the
squared.
subject of the day.
Yes. Yes, I know.
I
Like I saw you disagree with a piece in there, but I didn't catch it in terms of what element of what was being said that you didn't necessarily agree with.
the it everything, every tool, whether it be a medicine, social media, all of that, it's all in the hands of the user, right? Nuclear energy is fantastic, but if you're building bombs with it, well, right?
Right.
Obviously, right? There are medicines that are great tools that cure cancer and stuff, but you can
For
poison
sure.
people with them.
You don't have to get that complicated. You just talk about money itself.
Yeah, money's good, and well, money is neither good nor evil, but it's the user again that makes that. So in terms of social media, I mean, this is where I was kind of disagreeing with the kind of stronger statement that you were making earlier. So
Okay.
if I want to use an example, is that for me, yes, I can highlight myself, and I do, right? But oftentimes you're talking about storytelling in particular. You can tell authentic stories online and hope to have a much larger reach than if you were to just tell a story face to face or try to gather people together to tell a story
Yes.
face to face. Oftentimes in my social media, I highlight the achievements of my clients.
Hmm.
When people see results in my clients, they know that I am giving them something that is showing results and they are getting better and they have an opportunity to get better and to heal under my practice. So,
Yes.
however, if you make your social media all about your best, teaser with, right, or your best crab, and you have your feet literally tied around the back of your neck doing the crab, really,
Hmm.
really,
Yeah.
really, you know what? As an instructor or if I were a client, I don't care. What I care about is whether you're going to deliver a service to me that you're able to take my body as it is and on the reformer, reform
Sure.
me. On the
Right.
mat, reform me. any of the apparatus make me feel better, relieve me of my pain, give me better range of motion. All of the
Yes.
things that we talk about that Pilates is all about.
Right.
That is what we are here for. So first and foremost. So again, featuring your clients' stories, telling their story so that it could be an exemplar to other people to say,
Mhm.
oh, well, yeah, he was able to do this with this client and we were able to fix things and repair things, get
Right.
things better. Maybe he can do that or she can do that for me.
Right. Right. True.
That's the authenticity, and that's the proper way. Again, social media is just a tool. It's in the hands of the user, whether
Yep.
it's being used correctly or not. Now, both you and I know one of the reasons that you're here with Personal Victory, 10 o'clock in the morning, is because there were a lot of, outside of George Floyd, there were a lot of Pilates bullies online 2 years ago, and probably there still are,
Yeah. Yep.
right? So people would show their work, and then other people, the Pilates police. If we remember, we've had conversation. This has been
Sure.
all over. We don't talk about it as much now. Some still do.
Hmm.
Stephanie still does out west, and so on. Still highlights that.
Yeah.
Um, Sonia does, of course. She talks about this all the time.
Yes.
Okay, and how black bodies are policed in everything
Hmm.
that they do. Misty
Right.
talks about this all the time, Misty Cawthon. So we know
Yeah.
we still have to talk about it.
Right.
But back then, there were no voices fighting back against that sort of insincerity
Right.
online, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And the blocking of people telling their own personal journeys of how Pilates had made them better and how they improved, right? And
Hmm.
blocking those things and saying that it was, oh well, you're not in this position, you're not in that position, you're not doing it classically, you're a contemporary instructor, blah blah
Hmm.
blah blah blah. I mean, we can go on for this forever. That is a damn awful misuse of social media, and that highlights the bad in social
Right.
media. Okay,
Right.
highlights the bad. Doesn't mean that social media is bad or to blame. It highlights the bad because, as we know, the problem lies with the algorithms, right? Controversy gets views.
Hmm.
Saying stupidity and being controversial gets views. How many views did Kim Kardashian get saying that she starved herself so she can fit in her beep, beep, beep Met Gala dress?
Yep. Yeah. I didn't even follow it, but I don't know. Like,
You know how many thousands of people did, though? And how
yeah.
many young women now with eating disorders and everything hear that as a role model?
Yep.
This is why it's
So
important that,
sorry, go ahead.
no, but this is why it's important that you and I and all of us sane people use social media properly to tell stories and
Yes.
to make sure that the appropriate message is out there because people will find it. It doesn't mean that we abandon it entirely.
Hmm.
Okay, so sorry, you were going to say something.
Well, no, actually, I feel like I need to give a little bit of airtime to the other side of what you're saying. We were saying the proper way, and you demonstrating the examples of your clients and their movement. I also know that there's people who do their exercises and inspire people through their movement and the things they do. So not the people that are doing it out there just for vainglory, but people who like myself, my Real Men Do Pilates page, I'll put myself out there doing stuff because I know that there are people that want to see the results of their clients to see that movement. But then there's also people who see and they're like, all right, bet you can do that. I think I can do that too. They're
Yeah.
inspired by it, right? So I want to give airtime to people. So we're not hating on people who actually go out there and just get on the equipment and do that. And if you're going to do that, here's the one piece that I've got just feedback from people who see my stuff. They want to see you moving. They want to see a video of it. So
Hmm.
let's see the authenticity of you do a perfect teaser. If you can nail a perfect teaser on your first try, go ahead and put it up there. If you put up 5 of those and all 5 of them are terrible and the last attempt looks good, put that up there as well. People want to see progress, they want to see authenticity, they want to see movement. When you put up a still picture, I could have been posing and holding it for 1 nanosecond and caught it. And you think that
Exactly.
you're supposed to hold that teaser for 6 minutes because you see my still picture. That's not real. So the feedback I've gotten from people who see my videos are like, I like that. And I really like it when you put a video because then I see the setup, I see where you struggle, I see what it looks like, I see what it doesn't look like, and that actually helps me.
You know
So
what? But that's 100%. Okay.
yeah,
And Martin, that's the difference between your real man does Pilates and anything that I put up too, because sometimes I put up, ooh, that's a fail, right? That's
yes,
why it
yes,
stays in my stories. But yeah, no,
switching
ooh,
it
that's
back
a fail.
quite
But
quickly.
you know,
Yeah,
the point is that you put up your stuff, foibles and all, and attempts, right? It is so gratifying and refreshing to watch your videos where you're saying, okay, let's see if I can get this, let's see if I can nail this, and you go through and then you fall over, right?
yeah,
And
right,
then you do it
exactly.
again and then you get it right. That's the process.
That's
That's
the
the process,
process.
and that's authentic.
Yes.
My friend, you're the only one who does this.
There's others. There are
There
others.
may be a few others, but they haven't come into my sphere. Within the sphere, people, within my sight line where I can see, you're the only person who does this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the other part too, I want to say too that I'll put out that I know a lot of people don't do is all comments are welcomed. How would you cue this? Instead of putting something out there and being afraid of the Pilates police and afraid of those people who are from the contemporary world saying it should be like this or the classical world saying it should be like this, I will actually invite people to do it. And the funny thing is, I said this earlier this week, the funny thing is when you invite people to put their comment out, the
They don't
people
say,
are afraid to put their comment out because they're afraid of getting judged for their comments.
right, that they're
So it's
not
just like, so like we're right back at the same thing. So like, let's have a conversation.
station.
I'll put my neck on the line with the video. You put your neck on the line with your cueing cues, your cueing words, and let's have a dialogue about what works for this body, what works for the person you had, the person. I love what I see. Hey, I taught someone this morning, and I never thought to do it like that. I'm going to try that next time.
Yeah,
Like stuff like that. That's like great. We are all getting
that's
better in this moment.
that's the way it should be used. You're just highlighting the exemplar of using social media properly. Okay. But again, when I look out there in the land where as far as I can see, and I mean, it's not a big view circle, but then I don't want to be on this all day and I'm not going to stay on this chat for too long either because I have to get going. Or at least I'm going to work alongside while listening to you, but I have other things. It's very, very few. Like I said, in my circle, you are the only one who does that and does it regularly. I'm shaking my phone because it's just so emphatic. Okay.
So funny.
It's so emphatic. You are the only one. Now, there are other people who are very instructional, which is also good.
Yes.
So, they come on and they're talking about every point of the process, where you should be. And that's an instructional video. That's
Yep.
different. Okay.
Yep.
But I still lump that into this is the way social media should be. Okay.
Yes.
And should be
Yes.
utilized. But the
I'm gonna
person,
read.
again, that says, look at me.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, that photograph, we're in that perfect position for and it looks like infinity when really you may have taken 1,000 tries and
Yes.
you got on the second last try, you finally got it. And you're looking for all the photos to see which one looks best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't, I'm over it. I'm so over that. So
So Olivia Pilates says totally. I learn more from folks when they're authentic about the ups and downs rather than just the ups. Yeah, exactly. We need more of that for sure. I know you got to jump, but can you just talk quickly about the Pilates Day happening this weekend? Olivia was on yesterday.
oh,
Sorry, Bianca was on yesterday. So
Bianca was on yesterday. I'm not going to add too much to what Bianca said, but yes, starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. because our market is generally North America, so 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be having a celebration of Joseph Pilates on Pilates Day. Now, I'm going to warn everybody presenting, we all know our classical stuff, but we're all contemporary stuff with
yeah,
instructors. So
yeah, yeah,
don't get your hate on. All right, but there's a lot of value for everybody again.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so my
Just
my
yeah,
series will start at 11:45 and go to 12:45. Half of my time I'll be doing an express no reformer, no problem, right?
yes,
So
yes.
again, everybody saw the mess of the studio. That was unintentional. I had the phone aimed the wrong way. But again, using your props that you may have at home to
Mhm.
duplicate a reformer studio. If your studio's closed, if your instructor's away, what are the things you can do, right? You can also
Yeah,
join my no reformer, no problem classes that I offer too, but that's another
yeah,
story.
yeah,
But yes, so I'll be
yeah,
talking about that. The second half, I'll be talking about, again, we're going to deal with some racism in the Pilates industry, and particularly as black men, how we've had to cope and deal with that and
yeah,
navigate
yeah.
through. So it's going to be a fun hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour, because
Yes.
Bianca sent me the questions. I said, "Well, Bianca, you have to stop me from rambling on,
Yeah.
because I
Right.
could talk the whole day about these
Oh
questions."
man, these are yeah. There's so much in it. And also just before you jump off, I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm
Mm,
sure you can do this as well. This is a sad fact.
mm.
I think between you and I, we know every black male Pilates instructor on the globe.
Seriously, every.
Pretty much everyone that has some sort of social media
Mm,
connect for sure. People like I've had people who have messaged me that found me on LinkedIn that are not on social media saying, "Hey, I like what you're doing. My name is so and so." We've connected with people. Like I'm
hmm.
saying, like there's not that many, but I think we have like between you and I, taught to cross paths with, seen them in social media. We probably know them all, unless they are like really low key teaching like a couple hours a day sort of thing.
I think a lot
You,
of them are in the low key category.
yeah, yeah,
Martin, you'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
surprised. I really do think so. Because, again, there's the fear of the hate, that all of the hate that's on
Right,
here too,
right,
and they just don't want to subject themselves to that. Nor perhaps, their practices, not that we're not busy, but there's a lot of capacity one needs to have to manage social media
right,
and do your practice. And oftentimes, you don't see me as often now because I'm busy. Like it's
right,
it's busy. It's
yeah,
hard to juggle both. It
right,
really
right.
is. But in a sense, you have to. You may be right, and I mean, both of us know people in Melanin Brothers of Pilates,
Yeah.
so that's one sort of shared group. Though I'm not a member. I think you're a member of Melanin Brothers. Yes? No, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's not active in terms of anything, but I mean my name's
They've been posting a lot recently, which I've
right.
really been gratified for. They
Yeah,
had one
yeah,
excellent post a couple of weeks ago.
yeah.
So Melanin Brothers of Pilates, everyone check out
Mhm.
their Instagram page. There was a really beautiful, really hit me so nicely.
Mm.
Um, but we know that, and we know other people, of course, through our interactions,
Right, exactly. Yep.
right?
And
But
and there's
you may know
others too.
more of them in person than I do. I think.
There's some in Toronto like that aren't really super active that I was able to connect with earlier in the in this pandemic. I've
Right.
had them on, but yeah, but it's still I mean, but it's such a small number that I like
Number.
to I like to be able to just inspire people to just realize that this is one is a career. If there's something you're doing on the side, you can make a career out of this. Let's discuss that. Two, be visible, inspire the next. Like this is something that could be a game changer for many people. Who, if you're a Pilates, if you're a personal trainer out there and think that Pilates might be for you, come talk to us. Right? Like this could be something that get in there. Anyway, so
So,
I
Martin, before we go, though, one interview that you have to do,
yes.
and we've finally been in touch, is basically the black maven of fitness in Toronto, the person that got me
Mm-hmm.
into group exercise to begin with, way back in well, I started teaching in 1988, but I was doing group fitness from 86. Joanne James, you have to have her on.
Okay.
She is amazing. The
I'll get her down.
outreach work that she's doing outside of just the city of Toronto is amazing. And again, and she's people, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So yes, I have put her onto you,
Cool.
and
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
will. She doesn't have a social media presence. She has LinkedIn, but not a social media presence.
Yep.
I have put her onto you. So I'm going to try to facilitate that you get her on because she is absolutely fabulous. Maybe an interview perhaps that you run on an off time as opposed to your 10 a.m.s, depending, because
Sure.
of course, a lot of
or
a lot of
or
people are
physical
busy.
just road trip. I like there's no reason why like Fun fact: Mr. Phillips and I still have not met in person,
No,
and
we haven't met in person yet.
we live like
That's going to
35
come
minutes
soon.
apart.
I'm
Yeah,
just going to wait for the Pilates day, and I can start scheduling into May and June. We have to get that done before you're officially running. Well, you are officially running, but before you're really up
Oh,
and running
yeah,
on
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Before I'm like crazy with it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, so that is good. Yeah, I don't want to take up any more time. I do have something I want to say off of what you said, but I'm gonna open it up. And it's just a neat little thing there. So when you jump off, I'm gonna
Okay,
say
I'll be
something, and then
listening. I'll be
yes,
listening while working. All right. Thanks again, Martin, for
thanks,
having me.
thanks for jumping on, man.
All right. Bye.
All right. Julie Driver is here. Julie, do you want to join me on screen? It's 10:35. Wow, this is going fast. And Hannah is here too. Finland is in the house. Give me a thumbs up, Julie, if you got a chance. If you want to join me. And hi, Tammy. I saw you come in. And Olivia Pilates, where are you located? Just out of curiosity. So it's so many good things there, Martin. Thank you so much. So yeah, check replay from yesterday. Bianca was on talking about the Pilates day, and there's instructors from Brazil, from North America, from different places, and they're all doing these classes and are also fundraisers. So it's free. Check the link in her bio. Charlotte, North Carolina. What's up? And yes, so there's different fundraisers regionally that they're supporting as well. So it's a good way to give back, to get some movement in, to learn from some different instructors, and yeah, really, really good stuff. I'm not sure if Julie's going to come in, but I can say this anyway. And I've shared this story before. Kids do homes. Okay, cool. I'll do it real quick. Let's get her in. We're gonna have like crashing kids crashing a party soon, but we'll do. Hi.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you? Nice to see you. It's been a long time.
I know, it feels like it. The world, as everyone's getting busier, so I feel like I'm still just reaching and just pulling people back into like staying connected, right? So I appreciate people just reciprocating that too, and just staying connected as we get busier. Like this is now part of what we do. So I know that kids are gonna come crashing through any minute, so I'm gonna throw this in real quick. Martin Phillips was on a minute ago, and he is in the same way I train classically but do some contemporary stuff. He trained contemporary but knows a lot of classical stuff. And I've shared the story in the past where one of his people jumped into my online class, and I did like a classical repertoire, and the person just flew through it, killed every exercise, is really good. And it just really once again exemplified the fact that as a teacher, it doesn't matter where you come from. I love it when people understand the method. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you can call yourself whatever you want, but do you understand the method? Do you understand the origins of the exercises? That sort of thing. So that is so cool, that eye-opening experience for me, that like this person does contemporary classes on a regular, jumps into a classical class, and can hold their own. That's a pat on the back for the teacher, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when Mr. Phillips a minute ago was saying that these are all contemporary teachers, we know our classical, but this is like almost like a contemporary conference. It made me think about this LinkedIn post the other day that someone had where it said female CEO, and then they crossed out the female and just said CEO. Like, why do you have to put female CEO? And it's like, well, this is like Pilates is Pilates. So why do you have to, like, why can't you just cross out contemporary or classical? Just say this is a Pilates thing. If everyone knows their stuff, if this female CEO knows her stuff to the point where she's competent to run a business, why do we have to put the word female in front of it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it was just interesting.
This is why I love equestrian sports. They're the only sports that I'm aware of where men and women compete equally.
Yes.
There is no women's show jumping or men's show jumping. It's just show jumping.
Interesting.
And it's great because that's, it's unusual, I think, mostly because, of the strength differences and,
Yes.
I couldn't run 100 meters in an hour if you gave me an hour. Especially not in the moment.
Right. Yes. I think curling's the other sport that's coming close to that, because they
That's
say that, I
right,
mean,
yeah.
I'm not sure if like in terms of the sport, like but in terms of pay,
Yeah.
the purse, and they're very intentional that the purse is exactly the same, and like the money earned and all those things are paired. There's parity there in curling, so that's another. But that's an
Yeah.
interesting point that you're making about like just leveling
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I was going to say horse racing too. Yeah, absolutely. There are female jockeys. Absolutely.
Car
Yeah.
racing too. Stuff. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think I love the idea of being able to ditch these titles of contemporary or classical, because the public don't actually seem to care very much.
No.
It's, I'm sure if you picked somebody down the street and asked them, what kind of Pilates do you do, they wouldn't know what you're talking about.
The best
It's
analogy I've
just
heard.
us that care.
It's just us that care. Exactly. The
And I
best
don't.
analogy that the analogy that I heard that made me laugh was like, if you go to the dentist before you sit down, you're like, is that a classical drill or is that a contemporary drill? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you fix my tooth or not? That's the
Yeah.
only thing I care about right now, right? So, yeah, yeah.
Can we start a petition to ditch the C versus C word? Can we start a petition, Martin?
I know.
As
Right?
you are aiming to be a politician, you'll be amazing.
Thank you. I'll put that on the ticket. That's so funny. Francesca was on. That was so fun chatting with her.
I saw. She's so
Yeah,
lovely.
she's
Clever lady.
she's so fun. Like,
Yeah, clever lady.
you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That totally, like, how can I put this? When you do these core conversations and then you hear what someone does for a living, it's different than when you actually talk with them. You're like, wow, you're really cool for being that smart. Like, you're not a boring person for doing all those things, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, she's like really cool.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you?
I'm still rehabbing my foot. It's been 9
Yeah.
months, and don't break your heel. Anybody watching, don't. It's worse than when I completely shattered my leg from the skiing accident. The recovery is worse. It's a really
Crazy.
crap bone to break. Yeah. So that sounds like my kids coming home. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm coming to Canada in the summer.
I know.
So
wrong
excited,
post.
and I'm not going to get to see you because you're too far away from Whistler.
Like, it's probably equidistant. That's so funny. Like where you are right now.
I know, it's mad. I forget how big Canada is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you still doing your workshops, your online stuff? Everything's good in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm able to get out and about more. I'm safe to be around horses. I'm not on crutches anymore. I'm out in the stables. I'm going and doing evenings at my local riding stables to spread the word of Pilates to horse riders, because I think it's such we've talked about this before. It's such an amazing way for people to help their horses, because that's what I'm in it for. I want people to get better, to make their horses better. It's like when you were talking about Fran. One of the great things that Fran is able to spread to people as she's a vet is to say to them, if you do Pilates, you're going to see less of me. You're going to see less of your vets, your equine osteopaths, because you're not going to be damaging your horse quite so much. It's amazing how many riders ride when they're in pain. Mm-hmm. Amazing. The statistics of it are really high, and we don't realize how, if we're in pain, we're going to be compensating, so they compensate, and it becomes this circle of
absolutely
compensation going on. But yeah, I'm good. I could talk about that for hours. I could, so I won't.
I can pull stories out of you and get you talking for hours, because like it's fascinating because it's so far out of my scope, and two, it's a celebration of everyone who has a passion for something and how they can weave it into their Pilates.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's the thing that like I love. If I could not understand a single word you said, and I'd be like, tell me more, because I'm just hearing it. I'm just like, I love your passion for it. And you're like, I don't care about the people. I care about the horses. That's why I'm teaching Pilates to the people. Like, I think that's just funny, right? Like, like that's pretty cool. Yeah. So you see the hearts popping up on my side of the screen here. And I'm always curious too, right? When I talk with people, like what are you that passionate about? Like in the same way that Julie's so passionate about like horses and Pilates and people, stuff like that. Like, do you have your thing that you're that passionate about that you can start to shift your focus towards and pour more energy into giving that expression of what you do? And my son actually, I did this parent teacher meeting with my son and his mom and stuff, and we we were going past this class. He's doing a hospitality class, and the teacher is like, he went to hospitality school. His parents wanted him to be a doctor. He didn't want to do that, and he became a chef and burnt out. Went back to teachers college, and now he's teaching kids how to cook in a high school. This guy is in his glee. Like, that's the best of every world, because you're cooking all day, you're teaching all day, you're not doing restaurant hours, you're not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's doing all these things. He's in this area of passion. And I'm like talking to Nate, and I'm like, this guy's like living his best life right now. You realize that, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
This, I know so many people who have trained as, doctors or lawyers, and then they just suddenly have this moment where they go, actually, that's not what I want to do anymore. I want to do something else. One of my best friends, all her life, she was driven to be a doctor, absolutely passionate about being a doctor, succeeded, got exactly where she wanted to be. And after about 10 years, just went, I don't want to do this anymore. And just retired herself as a doctor. And it was really, to the rest of us, it was like, oh my God, but you wanted to do this since we were at school.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was the great thing was that she recognized that and went, I'm not going to. It's not making me happy.
Right.
How many of us would actually have the balls to do that? To actually stop
exactly
and go, you know what?
Yes. Yeah. The great thing is that she had the courage to act on it. It's one thing to acknowledge it, it's another thing to actually act on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That was it. It was amazing. She's a great lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, I'll let you put your mom cape on. Thank you for joining us.
All moms are super moms. It's lovely to see you, Martin.
Thank you as always.
Bye.
Hi, Beth. I see Marianne is here again. What's going on? So good chatting with you yesterday. Isha, Positivity Pilates, what's going on? Carrie. Yes. We are allowed to change and change as we grow. Yeah, yes, exactly. And it's funny how that's always an evolving process, because I think about, like, I was in here's ready for story time. I just realized this, we're flowing to Martin's story time. I went to university wanting to be an architect, realized that my marks were not good enough to be an architect, so I went to environmental studies, urban planning, realized that I would not get into urban planning, so I went to social work, because I was like, okay, well, I like helping people too. So I did social work, did the social work thing, realized when I was doing social work that I was having better conversations with kids over the bench press than on the counseling things. So I left social work to get into working in fitness and still scratching an itch for helping people, always with the center line of wanting to help people, have an impact on people. And now I decided to run for city council in my area, still living in the same area, obviously moving up for university, but coming back to the same spot. I'm invested in this place. My parents moved here in 1977, and it's like, I am still passionate about helping people. And there's this through line of wanting to make an impact, and now it's landed me saying, I want to be in municipal, government and affect change that way. And that is the way that I'm going to have the best expression of me wanting to have an impact on people. I've done it with Pilates, I've done it with fitness, I've done it with social work, I've done it with youth, and now I want to do it on a bigger scale. But it's exactly the same thing. So whatever it is that you're going for, it's just like, stay true to that and have the courage to keep making those continual adjustments. Like, if this is your trajectory, change it by one more degree so you get to where you're going, but you're still going in the same direction, right? So, like, I see this natural progression from me saying, I want to build people instead of building buildings, to moving on to the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. But there's still this through line of wanting to make people feel good by what we're building together. Because I still think about that in architecture. I'd love to be able to have someone sit down and say, I'm building my dream house. I'm doing this thing. I want to build something for the community, and sit there and be able to physically draw the building and then drive by the building that I built. Some of the things that I'm most proud of in terms of my work in the city is the Peel Youth Village. And I remember when I was working at the dam, one of the drop-ins in this area, organizations, I was sitting on this committee where we were planning building this like basketball court and housing, transitional housing and stuff like that. And it's now built, it's over by square one. And then like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, my son had a basketball practice and he was doing practices in the buildings. And I was like, I'm telling Nate, like, I helped build this. Like I was part of the planning committee that for years was planning this. So there's a sense of pride of I wasn't successful as an architect or as an urban planner to be able to like technically build a building, but then still I was sitting in a room with everyone who was dictating what the building's going to look like, where the room's going to be, why is there no air conditioning, or why is this going to be here, what's the flow of the room. We sat and collectively planned all that. So now I'm walking in with my son into a building that I still built, even though I didn't become an architect. And those are those through lines with what we're doing here that I think is so fascinating. I'm so grateful for, and so scared for at the same time. Like this is a huge step of courage, much like Julie's friend who left being a doctor to do whatever next. And I'm not going to fully leave Pilates, but like it's going to be not the central thing anymore. So I'm leaving this place of comfort to do that next thing. And I just want to challenge and encourage every one of you, if you're thinking about that next thing in your evolution, in the culmination of who you are, to just go for it. Do it and let people know that you're going for it. Because then you'll be surprised and pleasantly surprised by how many people surround you that have seen that in you, believe in you, know that it's going to happen, may even have wanted to do it themselves, but now recognize that you're doing it. You're the man for the job. You're the woman for the job. I'm going to put all of my resources into making sure that you get there. That happens too when you vocalize what's next for you. So I just want to throw all that out there for you, just to know that you can do it. Simple as that. You can. Put it out there, and you'd be surprised by how many people surround you to make it happen. Just reading your comments. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Lindsay. You guys are awesome. All right, party people. Yeah, we gotta do this. I am so inspired by all of you, and yeah, keep sharing your stories. We start off by asking, is social media helpful or helping or hurting the helping Pilates? And I feel like, like what Neil was saying when he came on, and what Martin Fields was saying, that that storytelling, that scope, that reach, when done authentically, can be amazing, can do amazing things, and can be very efficient in getting our stories out there. Let's use it for good. It's like money. Like you can do bad stuff with money, you can do good stuff with money. Let's use it for good. We have the power to use it for good, and let's continue to do that. I think, yes. Julie's comment, without social media, I wouldn't have met you. I know, right? We've been robbed of so many rich connections, so many good things. Yep. I have to say, one of the things that I always do is think about Fridays as a day that is, I used to do a lot of Finish Strong Friday posts, hashtag Finish Strong Friday, because no matter how terrible your week is, you can still finish it on a good note. and let the ebb and flow of your week go to a point where you can finish it strong. I don't like crawling into a weekend. I want to just like march in, like, yes, got some stuff done this week, made some good connections, it was productive, whatever it is, and walk into the weekend that way. And that this conversation has been one of those conversations where it's like, yes, this is a great end to the week. We finished this week strong. Caught up with Marion this week, caught up with Julie, Neil. These are some people I haven't seen in a while and chatted with a while. We talked shop yesterday in a good way. So like these things are good. And I hope that you are walking into your weekend knowing that it's been a good week. If someone's to ask you today, like me, if you had some challenges and things been testing you all week, you can still say it was a great week because of how today has been going. So that being said, we're at 55 and we're going to jump off right now. Have a great weekend, everybody. We're back at it next week. Some of you have never been a guest. Please message me, chase me down. I'd love to have a conversation with you, hear your story, what you do, what made you passionate about what you did, when did you find it, who is your ideal client, all the same stuff. Let us learn about you. So please reach out to me. I'd love to have you on. If you are on here and you know someone that you want to be a guest, please message me as well, and we'll drop it like that. And Miss Lindsay Ray, we need to have you on again too. It'd be good to have some of our people that have been on in the past back in. So we're gonna make that happen. And we are out. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day.